I would like everyone to take a moment and try and imagine living a life where water is scarce. Try and imagine a life where water is rationed out to you. Try and picture being limited to a certain amount of water a day, while others in surrounding countries go thirsty. There is a good chance that this could happen to all of us in the future if we don't change our ways. My name is Robyn Hamlyn. I'm 15 years old and I'm trying to save our water. Life revolves around water. Water is life. Right now, though, we are faced with a global water crisis. The world is actually running out of water. I know that all of you are thinking, well, how can we be running out of water? It rains, doesn't it? I thought that way as well. Our Earth is called the blue planet. When you see it from space, you see water. 97% of that water is salt water. The remaining 3% is fresh water. What is amazing and scary at the same time is that almost all of that 3% is already polluted, and therefore useless to humans. Nearly 1.6 billion people live in severe conditions where water is either filled with so much chemicals and waste that it is undrinkable, or there is barely any water at all. So how did it get so polluted? There are many reasons. We use chemicals to increase farming productivity, and these chemicals pollute the groundwater. Emissions from our vehicles rise up and pollute the clouds. Industrial plants also contribute to the pollutants in our air and water. Over 60% of our wetlands that can help in cleansing our water have been destroyed in the last 100 years. We are also depleting our supply of water. Just around our Great Lakes, we pump 3.2 trillion liters of water a day. 7.4 billion liters do not get returned. The Aral Sea near Kazakhstan was formerly one of the 4 largest lakes in the world. It has been steadily shrinking since the 1960s, since the rivers that fed it were diverted by Soviet irrigation projects. Today, the shrunken Aral Sea has been called one of the planet's worst environmental disasters. Remember that when you drain a lake, that's it. It's gone. We have resorted to pumping nearly 120 billion liters of our groundwater a day to provide for our needs. To manufacture one car, we need 350,000 liters of water. One microchip requires 32 liters of water. 1 liter of bottled water requires 3 to 5 liters of water. Unfortunately, we do not know just how much groundwater we are sitting on. We do know that we are pumping up to 15 times more water from the ground than what is being returned into it. There was an ancient city in the Middle East called Ubar that had disappeared underneath the desert sands. No one knew what happened to it until archaeologists discovered that the reason it had collapsed into the sand was because of groundwater pumping. Not only is this a possibility, it's already happening. In Florida, the ground is starting to collapse in certain areas, and giant sinkholes are emerging, like the one in Winter Park, Florida. The regions of San Joaquin Valley, California, and Mexico City have sunk downward as the watershed has been depleted. Our soil is eroding. Deforestation, overgrazing, winds, and flooding are damaging the top layer of our soil. This soil is hardened, making it more difficult for rainwater to soak into it. We are now seeing areas of our Earth turning into desert because of this. If rainwater cannot be absorbed into the Earth because of damaged soil, or us paving over our Earth to create or expand towns and cities, our rainwater will simply run off into the ocean, away from where we need it most. There are others who want to turn our attention to our ocean water and desalinizing it for us to use. Desalination is a process where most salt and minerals are removed from salt water, allowing us to drink it. Considering we have so much ocean water, it seems like a fantastic idea, but it's not. Environmentally, desalinization requires a huge amount of fossil fuels, which contributes to global warming, which then leads to climate change. Financially, building these plants is extremely expensive, so only the richer countries will be able to afford to do this, and the rest of the world won't be able to even consider it. By trying to fix one problem, we're creating a whole other one. All of this information is extremely upsetting, and you would hope that we would be taking steps towards fixing these problems, so that everyone on the planet can have water in the future. Unfortunately, the powerful people in this world see the water shortage and see an opportunity to get a hold of what's left and make a profit out of it. In 1992, at a UN conference in Dublin, Ireland, we saw for the first time that water was spoken as an economic good and not a human right. There are 87 corporations that see where the future is and are investing in building desalination plants so that in the future, when all of us need a glass of water, guess where we're going to have to go to get it? From the corporations that have put the work into cleaning it up, packaging, and distributing it. There are many problems in the world that man has created, but that doesn't mean that man cannot fix them. When my teacher showed my class the movie Blue Gold, World Water Wars, 2 years ago in grade 7, I was really scared. I was scared that we were sitting back watching our Earth slowly die around us because of our careless actions. I was scared because I found out that Canada is one of the 3 water-rich countries in the world. So when other countries run out of water, they're going to look to us for a source of water. And we will be in the middle of a world water war. I was scared because this could happen within 10 to 20 years from now, when I'm a young adult. I didn't walk out of the classroom complaining about how long and depressing the movie was. I walked home realizing that this is something serious, and we can't just sit around and wait for something like this to happen. When I got home, I showed parts of the movie to my mom and told her that we have to do something. I didn't think I was going to do something huge, but I knew that I couldn't sit back and wait for someone else to do something. I had to take care of it. My mom was busy making supper that night and admits now that she didn't think I would actually go through with it when she said I could write my mayor. I did. When we mailed the letter, my mom told me not to expect a reply immediately. The mayor was a very busy man, so I shouldn't get upset if he didn't reply at all. He did. Mayor Garrettson invited me to meet with him. Today, my mom doesn't say no or I doubt it so quickly anymore. I wanted to be prepared, so I watched the movie again, did some research, and then emailed the director of the movie, Sam Botso, asking him if there was anything specific I should talk about in this meeting. He then connected me with Maud Barlow. Maud started the movie Blue Gold and is a famous Canadian activist who is the national chairperson of the Council of Canadians. She told me if I wanted to do something at my age, I could ask my mayor to make Kingston a blue community. A blue community is a small solution to our big water crisis. It won't fix everything, but it's one step closer to cleaning up the mess that we've created. A blue community treats water as belonging to no one, and is the responsibility of all. It must be governed by principles that allow for reasonable use, equal distribution, and responsible treatment in order to preserve water for nature and future generations like me. In order for a community to become a blue community, 3 resolutions must be passed. The first one is banning the sale of bottled water in public facilities and at municipal events. Now, before I saw Blue Gold World Water Wars, I didn't see a problem with drinking bottled water. In fact, I drank it quite frequently. Then I learned all of the facts about plastic water bottles. I learned that it takes 3 to 5 liters of water to produce 1 liter of bottled water. I also learned that bottled water companies require massive amounts of fossil fuels to manufacture and to transport their bottled water, which contributes to our climate change. I read that the production of water bottles uses 17 million barrels of oil a year. In order to convince people to spend 200 to 3,000 times what they spend on tap water, bottled water companies say that their water is safer. But this isn't true. Bottled water is regulated as a food product under the Canadian Food Inspection Agency. This means that the water bottling plants are inspected, on average, only once every 3 years. Municipal tap water is tested continuously, both during and after treatment. And it doesn't stop there. There was an article in the Toronto Sun that said less than 50% of the water bottles Torontonians consume every day are actually being recycled. This means that as many as 65 million empty plastic water bottles per year end up as garbage in a landfill waste site. And that's just Toronto. Can you imagine how much all of Canada throws away? Bottled water is a convenience, but we are at the point where our earth can no longer support convenience. We have to go back to the time before bottled water even existed. We were all fine before bottled water came to be, and we will all be fine without it. The second resolution to becoming a blue community is recognizing water as a human right. This means that no one should go without water. Everyone should have access to clean, fresh water, and no one should have to go thirsty because they don't have clean, fresh water to drink. The third and last resolution is promoting publicly owned and operated water and wastewater services. When water and sanitation services are privatized, the company usually cuts the workforce, charges the customer more, and cuts corners in keeping our water safe and clean. So what comes out of it? The company gets the bigger profit, the environment gets ignored, and the service is poor. After bringing up all of this information to my mayor, he invited me to speak to our city council. I did, and on September 20th, the City of Kingston passed the Human Rights Resolution. I was excited with this success, but it wasn't going to make the difference I wanted to make. It wasn't going to change the fact that water, which is life, is being sold for profit rather than being made available to everyone. It wasn't going to change the fact that eventually, when water is scarce, those who have money will have access to it, and those who don't will go without. So that's when I decided to take things to the next level. I wrote letters to almost 50 mayors across Ontario, asking if I could come and try to make their communities blue communities. The response I got was mind-blowing. I found out quickly that mayors wanted to meet with me. They wanted to hear what I had to say. And this is a message that I'm trying to get out to kids across Canada. Our government does want to hear from you. They're willing to make changes, but you need to tell them. I have met with people that understand and agree with everything I am saying. And I've met with people that give me all sorts of excuses why this can't be done or why that can't be done. I've had some communities agree to pass some or all of the resolutions, and I've had others that don't agree and don't pass anything. Now and then I do get upset about the losses, but I try and remember that as long as I'm getting the word out to people that didn't know about the problem before, I'm being successful. My biggest struggle is trying to make people understand how bad our situation is, and that we have to act now and not later. I get frustrated with people getting hung up on the small details, when they should be looking at the bigger, scarier picture. As of December 2013, I've met with 19 mayors and councillors, presented to 22 council meetings, 5 committee meetings, and I've had 13 speaking engagements to help spread the word. So far, I have made 7 communities blue communities, and I've gotten several others to pass 1 to 2 of the 3 resolutions. I'm awaiting word on the rest. This is what one person can do. Can you imagine if everyone stood up and did something as well? I do this not only to make communities blue communities, but to inspire and to educate others. I do this to make a wave of change. I'd like to build a working relationship with people, a relationship where we share the task in saving our water. I'm not asking you to travel across the province to present to councils. What I am asking of you is to look and see that we have a limited time to change our future. It is time we did something, and doing something is much simpler than you may think. You can make simple changes in your lives that will help our planet. Use your washing machine and dishwasher only when you have a full load. Install low-flow shower heads and toilets, which limits the amount of water being used in your house and apartment every day. The average person in most African countries uses less water each day than what we use to flush our toilets. Your toilet uses 8 liters of water on average. They have access to less than 5 liters of water per day. Take showers instead of baths. Showers use 1/3 of the water that taking a bath requires. Conserve water by taking shorter showers. If you reduce your shower time to 4 minutes, you save 13,800 liters of water per year. Turning off the tap when you're brushing your teeth saves about 3.8 liters of water per minute. You can do the same when washing your face or washing your dishes. Have you ever heard of a rain barrel? A rain barrel collects rainwater and stores it for later use. Instead of using municipal water at a cost to water your lawn and garden, you can easily hook up a hose to your rain barrel and use free rainwater. Yes, it does cost $42, but if $42 means more water for future generations, it's a pretty good investment. Avoid watering your garden in the hottest hours of the days when water evaporation is at its highest. I know these things are stuff that people think are so small that it really doesn't matter if we do it or not. But if everyone contributes their single drop in the bucket, then pretty soon the bucket of change will be overflowing. This tip will probably be the easiest one. Making a personal commitment to using your own refillable water bottle instead of bottled water. Just think about it. Why would you buy bottled water, which is 200 to 3,000 times more expensive than tap water? That would be like paying $10,000 for a sandwich. I have told every mayor and every council that I've spoken to that I'm on a mission. My goal is to make every community in Canada a blue community. I want to eventually speak to each premier of each province, and then hopefully to the Prime Minister of Canada. I know it's a big dream, but I'm determined to get there. Please visit my website, thewaterwarriors.ca, and tell me how you have helped save our water in your community. I would love to add you to my Who's Riding the Wave list and share your story. My mom has a quote on our fridge that says this: "I'm only one, but I am one. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. What I can do, I ought to do, and by the grace of God, I will do." I believe in the power of one. I believe that when you have a passion for something, you can do almost anything. I also believe that even though our reality looks very bad right now, if we work together, person by person, community by community, we can save our planet's life source. Thank you.